Hello there, Optimus Prime here with another fun, exciting video. Now today I wanted to have a look at and talk about one of my very favourite lines at the moment. It's a Transformers line, but it doesn't actually transform. There's quite a lot of these about at the moment, but this one is quite fun and exciting, and I really like it. It is a bit divisive. Some people hate it. There are a lot of people out there who completely are of the opinion that Transformers should transform. Fair. But anyway, it's the Super7 line of ReAction figures for Transformers. The ReAction figure line itself has been going on for a fair few years now, and has always been basically licensed figures in the style of the 1980s or 70s and 80s Kenner action figures. So they have the same posability, they look similar, and that's what they're going for. And here's Optimus Prime. This is the only one I have out of box. He is, basic 3¾ inch action figure styled after the cartoon. His little gun, and his arms move, and his legs move, and his head moves, and that's it. And they look gorgeous. Really simple, but really nice. Now, they also come in really quite sexy packaging. Here's Devastator in his really quite lovely card art. Again, it looks very much like the old Star Wars action figures, the similar sort of position in the logo, the border, the character portrait, the name tags, the static pose in the box, and even their ReAction logo is modelled after the old Kenner logo. I love these. I have nearly all of them, but my biggest issue with them is these cards are really difficult to display. You can either sort of pop them up on a wall somewhere, or you've got to have like an entire shelf devoted just to a static selection of cards with nothing else. You can't fit a lot of them around. Now, you can probably see my room. I'm really lucky to have a whole room that I can display toys. I have a very understanding wife. But I've got nowhere to put them, and they've just been sat in a pile that gets moved around here, there and everywhere. So this video may upset some people, because I'm going to be utilizing this to open these. So here's my collection in all of its boxed up glory. You can just see some of the guys at the front there. I'm missing currently all of the exclusive ones. There's a couple of different versions of some of the characters. They brought out a Halloween range, which were all just black themed repaints. So you had Stepper and Sound Blaster and Black Megatron, and there's a Dead Prime as well. I haven't got those yet, and the only one I'm actually missing from the main line is Astro Train, because I somehow forgot to pick him up and have been waiting to get him on pre-order. Anyway, it's fine. Obviously Optimus is already out of his packaging, so I don't need to worry about him. I do actually have a carded version which I've got on my collection separately, and that's fine. And I'll probably get a second Bumblebee, because I have a small Bumblebee collection as well. It's one of those sort of accidental collections that you end up with because you buy so many toys. So I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with these, because the two choices are I rip the card and it gets thrown away, and that is that, or I cut them open and try and save the card. So I think we'll try the cutting open and see where we go from there. So I'm, rather than trying to separate the bubble from the card, which I don't think is going to work. I mean, this is a sharp knife. I've just changed the blade, but I don't really think... Nah, it's just going to rip the paper anyway. Okay, so I'm going to go with surgically slicing into the bubble. Ooh. 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 So just to be clear, I'm not going to sit here and do this for all of these figures because we'll be here all day and people will stop watching or fast forward to the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do this with a couple of them, and then when they're all open, I'll do a little sum up. Ha! Bumblebee, you're released from your plastic prison. There he is, and this is, let's grab his little gun. Oh, and the guns are just sellotaped to the inside of the bubble, just like they were on the old ones. Not that they ever were on the old ones of these, but you know what I mean. That's quite a cute little gun. So then I can just pop the bubble back in there, and then I might display a few of these at the back when I get the figures out on display. So again, very much like Optimus. So zoom in on you. He's yeah. He's a little tiny Bumblebee. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, so the articulation is exactly the same, which is effectively none. The gun is practically 2D. It's there's very little detailing on there at all, and ooh, I should have done something about my nails. Sorry. Yeah, so the gun's a bit awful. But he looks cool. Little Autobot symbol on his tum tum. Looks like a little Bumblebee. Horns are a bit big, but yeah. So that's that. All right. So let's go with Grimlock next. Let's try and keep it as close to the card as possible. Hold on, I messed that up a bit. There we go. Off you come. Out you go. Put that down. Get out old Grimmy. Let's grab. Whoops. There. Grab his gun and his sword. So yeah, the gun again. There's a little bit more detail to it, but it's still largely not detailed. Oops. I'm guessing that's on purpose to make it a bit more animated style. I mean, these are obviously all based on the animated models for them. That's awkward to get in. There we go. And a little sword. Nice. Remember with the old Star Wars action figures, you'd find that they wouldn't always, the weapons wouldn't always go into their hands, and you had to like pull at the thumbs with your teeth to try and jam the weapon in. Or maybe that was just me. Again, lovely looking figure. The plastic quality on these is how to put it? It's a bit more. Whereas the Star Wars figures are kind of rubbery, these are kind of rubbery. The plastic feels more hefty, I suppose. I don't really know how to describe it. They're solid. They're very chunky and solid figures, and they look cool, and that's really what I care about. So pop in with the other two. Let's go for Soundwave. And then I think I'm going to do Devastator. And then what I'll do is I will just pop the rest out of the cards off camera and then just show you them all together at the end. That sounds like a good plan. That's a good plan. I like that plan. Well done me for coming up with that plan. Sound wave. Soundwave's gone. Is a little bit bent. Boo. Not a problem. We can sort that out. A little bit of hairdryer or hot water action will soon get that sorted, but I'm not going to do that now. Oh, that was much easier. He's just a solid chunk of Soundwave joy. Yeah, I think I was asked whether or not these are better quality than the ReAction figures, and I mean, in some respects, I would say yes. They're cleaner, if that makes sense. The lines are sharper. There's definitely a nice squareness to all of this, and they feel good in your hand. They're a nice plastic. They move well. There's no floppiness to these. They're pretty solid. It's almost statuesque. Oh, does that come off? Don't know. Doesn't look like it. Does wibble a little bit though. Yeah, obviously he doesn't come with any tapes, and his tape deck doesn't open, which is, I mean, I guess that's what you'd expect from a standard 3 3/4 inch action figure. They didn't really have things like that. So let's just do Devastator. He is the big boy of the group. He's not quite twice the size of some of the other ones, but he is hefty. There's a definite largeness to him, but he's definitely, they're not really worrying about scale, let's say. Not even too an accurate scale. Maybe for most of the others, but Bumblebee's a bit tall, so I think they're just going for whatever scale they've decided, which is made up, don't care scale. He's chunky. He's more like a 6-inch action figure rather than a 3 3/4 inch. What's that? It's quite refreshing to have figures actually coming out of a blister bubble quite easily. I had a heck of an issue getting the shattered glass Ratchet's gun out of the packaging yesterday. It just would not come out. Almost had to cut it. Ugh. Oh, look at that meaty fist there. Meaty purple fist. So meaty. Now this guy, the plastics, it's a different plastic. You can, just by tapping a nail on it, you can feel that it's different. I'd even go as far as to say that this is more hollow. It's definitely not, it doesn't feel the same as the other two. The other ones I've opened. The arms, maybe. But yeah, again, exactly the same articulation. Even to the point where, yeah, the fists, they don't move. It did look like they're a separate piece. They might be a separate piece, but they've taken the design choice to not have the fists rotate. And again, the same with the waist. Even though it could have, because of the aesthetic they're going for, it doesn't. Which I respect. Go with your aesthetic and stick to it. Yeah, so that is Devastator. And if we compare him to Mr. Soundwave, he's almost twice as tall. Not quite though. It's Bumblebee's even shorter. Looking good so far. Okay, so I'm going to open the rest of these, and I'm going to come back and have a quick nose at the whole lot. So I will see you instantly. And we're back. Okay, so I have released them all from their plastic prisons. So now we have almost a complete set of Wave 1 and 2. Wave 3 is out in some places, I think. I can't for the life of me who's in it. I think there's Blaster and Dirge, I think. I'll have to check. Can't remember. But yeah, they all look amazing as well. So yeah, let's just have a quick look. One of my absolute favourite things is Alpha Tryon, who is looking very swish with his Dame Edna glasses and his exceptional robo beard. Here he is. Oh, he just looks stunning. But I think my favourite thing is that he comes with a vinyl cape, very much like old Obi-Wan Kenobi from the original Star Wars figures, and that is a lovely touch, for he is a sort of an Obi-Wan character, and yeah, nice, like it. Although you can't take it off like you used to be able with the Star Wars figures because his shoulder pads are in the way, which is fine. Yep, looks like Alpha Tryon. Amazing. One thing that obviously, if you keep them in packaging, you don't get to see the lovely detailing on their backs, which is, well, back detailing. One thing that's quite apparent is, well, two things. For a lot of collectors, these will always stay in packaging, and that's true for all toys for a lot of collectors. I have always been an out-of-box collector. I will never be an in-box collector. I can't do it. I love toys. I love touching toys. That is what, it's the tactile element of it that I like the most. And just having them sat in boxes, in cabinets forever and ever and ever it's upsetting to me. I love the fact that I can sit up here and just open a cabinet, pull out a transformer and play with it to my heart's content. Ordinarily it's an Optimus Prime, but you know, there are others in here as well. Jazz, slight downside, there's a slight pink tinge to the white, not terrible. Again, lovely detailing there. They've all got massive massive gaps around their legs so that you can get their legs all the way around. Yeah, I like the old figures as well. They've got sort of rubberized plastic, or rubbery-ish plastic for the arms. It's a lot more sturdy because again you've got the very clean line, so you need to have a fairly solid plastic to be able to do those. But the bodies are hollow, hard plastic, like the original sort of Star Wars figures and things. Again, some back detailing which you'll never see ever if you have it in a packet. Really like Mirage, he's really nice. There's a little rocket launcher there. Again, I mean, they have bothered to put some paint on the back. It's not like they were just expecting everybody to keep them in their packaging all the time. One thing that is quite noticeable with some of them is, as I was saying about these weapons being really thin, they're blatantly not intended to be toys. It says they're collectors on the packaging, and the plastic these are made of as well. There's a bit of give to it, but I think some of the things are a little bit brittle, and if you're playing with them as if how a kid would play with them, they would break. There's no two ways about it. Soundwave, we've done Soundwave already. It's quite fun that you've got his cassette. There's all the Rumble, Frenzy Rumble. What's on the packet? He's animated, so I'm guessing he's a Rumble. I actually can't remember. Nor can I find the packet. Ah! He is... Where are you? I was right at the bottom of the Rumble! Good. So yes, Rumble is blue. Or red, depending on your personal take on it. sort of expecting these to come off to be handguns, but they don't. Again, nice, toon accurate detailing. Yeah, he's pretty sweet. Let's go for him. Ooh, a little bit of a creak there on the arm. Again, nice antlers. Good old shrapnel. Little gun, little tiny gun. And again, point about the not being for kids. There is no way you can tell me that that would not snap off within 2 seconds if these were meant to be played with. And again, little detailing of his leggy wiggies on his back. And shockers. That's not really a lot to say about him. He's Shockwave. Ooh, actually there is. Nice clear plastic tube for his tubey tubes. For his gun arm. It's quite nice, like that. He does look at my fist. Look at it. Yeah, again, toon accurate paint job. Nice violet. And Stars Cream. Yeah, he was also, look at how thin the null rays are. They are super duper thin. There we go. And that's quite brittle plastic. They would break in a second. Oh, that sneaky little grin there. His face hole. Nice Megatron for him to hold. Does mean that his arm can't actually go back all the way because the stock impedes movement. Bad Super7. Love the wings, they're really nice. Don't think it's a backpack that comes off. Not going to try. Again, these are solid plastic and it feels again quite brittle. I think these definitely fall into the collector's item category rather than the toy category. And finally, old Greyface himself, looking quite swish. Very chest, head back, in a pose of utter disdain and defiance from the Decepticon leader. Nice fusion cannon. And fist of power. And again, detail on the back is exactly what you'd expect, really. Yeah, so that's them all out of their packaging, and I think they look awesome. I'm very much looking forward to sticking them all on a shelf where they will live out their days battling each other until, well, forever. Just very quickly, I will just grab from here. Ooh, out of shot, obviously. This is RED Prime from Hasbro, and just a quick comparison of these two. Not really comparable in a lot of ways because this is super posable 6-inch action figure and this is not really posable 3 3/4 inch action figure. But in terms of quality, the plastic, it's quite similar. There's not a lot in it really. He's a lot more floppy, obviously, but you can do more with him. I really like the RED figures. A lot of other people have had issues with them, and yet they're not perfect, and they're not really even what I was hoping they would be. But they're fine. These I love. I will happily get the entire set of these if I can and stick them in a cabinet and get them out occasionally for little wars. Careful wars though, because they're for collectors and they're not toys. Oh, this has gone super blurry. Come on, focus. There we go. Sorry, still getting used to shooting this way rather than just holding toys in front of my face. Oh, and I cut my nails because they were freaking me out, let alone anybody else. And that's about it for these guys. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at these as much as I've enjoyed making this mess on the floor here, which I've just done the ceiling because I forgot which one my camera was. There we go. Mess. Super fun. Super fun. Yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed this, and hopefully you've had a chance to see some of these that you wouldn't have seen out of package ordinarily. I've been Optimus Prime, and I'm going to go and have my dinner. Goodbye.
Fingers on plastic.